Hey Drew, just looking at your files you provided me, we did look at this in class a little bit. So you started the actual illustration in Illustrator, and then it looks like you might have laid out the rest in InDesign. I would say if this is a logo, just make it all in Illustrator. For layouts, like multiple page layouts, InDesign is really good for that. But for a logo, just do it all in Illustrator. Let me take a look and see what you've done. I guess it didn't really compute with me when you showed me in class that you were kind of putting this together partially in InDesign. And that's no fault of your own. It's fine. It's just I think you're going to have a better time. I'm missing some links. Doing this all in Illustrator. So it looks like I've got your text here. And then you have some sort of file that you said you did an image trace on. So we did kind of fix the issue with the skull that I noticed that was just like, it just seemed like, it was floating apart. So I think you added in like a gray shadow here, which really helped. Let's see. So we can, in Illustrator, maybe size this down and then just work in here. Ooh, there's two of them. Oh, okay, maybe you totally did that. Command A. I'm just going to size everything down. And push Shift using the free transform tool. Oops. I'm just going to move it over here. So I would say, you know, you put that gray in there. Maybe try, you know, push Shift on your keyboard to drag out a perfect circle. You know, maybe try adding in, I don't know what color, you know, you want to do, but arrange, send it back. Maybe try putting in like a solid color behind it. I don't know if that's going to look good or not. It might not. You might want to stick with what you were doing in here. You know, maybe try going online and finding a better barbed wire. Something like that. Images. There's some decent ones here that might work for you. Maybe this is where you pulled yours from. This one's really stylized. These ones maybe are a little bit more like realistic. This one's more like wonky, which might actually be kind of cool to experiment with. I'm not sure if you want it perfectly circle or if you want to kind of make it a little different. Let's see how high resolution are these. Not great. What's this one like? It actually doesn't look that good if you look at it closely too, so maybe those aren't the best. This one is actually like a real piece of barbed wire. Anyway, part of the trick is just finding a good thing to work from, honestly. A good image to go with and to work from. There's quite a few to choose from here, but I was kind of thinking something a little bit more bold. Because the one that you have in InDesign, it's just, the image quality doesn't look very good. And this is on high quality display too. So it looks pixelated, probably because I'm missing the link. But I think just looking around and trying to find a better one. You know, maybe something like this would be better because it would trace really well. It's very stylized. Something like that might work better for you. Let's see. Let's do this one's actually not too bad. So this one's from Deposit Photos. So if we do a control click on this and then open image in a new tab, make sure you do that because then you get it full size for sure. And then save image to downloads. I'm doing a control click on that, which is a right click basically on a Mac. And if we go into Photoshop, if I can get that to launch, why won't it launch? Okay, it's launching. Okay, I'm in Photoshop. So if we do File, oops, what is this happening? Sorry. Get back here in Photoshop. File, Open. Get that thing from our downloads right here. I'm going to open it up in Photoshop first to just kind of dial it in because it's got some like watermarks and stuff on it. I'm going to crop it with the crop tool to get rid of that a little bit. And then I'm going to do image mode, grayscale. And then I'm going to do Command L on the keyboard for levels. And we're just going to bump up the whites and bump down the blacks to make the white really white and the black really black. And that will get rid of the watermark from online. Nice little trick. So Command S, we just save over the old file in the downloads. And then we can go into AI, do a file place. Where is that at? Sometimes I can't find it. And then from downloads, bring in that one that I just made, click and drag it the size I want it. I'm in Window, Workspace, Essentials Classic. And then I'm going to do an image trace. I just clicked the button. It didn't do an amazing, it didn't pick up quite as much detail as I was hoping for. Maybe if I Command Z that and then do Window, Image Trace, and bring up the Image Trace panel and push Preview, I can actually kind of change the threshold a little bit to get maybe more detail. I don't know if you want more detail or not, but it might be good. Sometimes more detail also means that it's more, it won't print as well sometimes too, especially if you're making like a t-shirt. Some of these small lines might blur anyway. So, I mean, I don't know, maybe this isn't the best approach. Maybe the threshold should be close to, I don't know, 205 maybe? And we are on black and white mode. View tracing result, I got the preview checked. Okay, so, and then we can just push expand up here. And that actually made it vector. It did create a white background, so I'm going to use the white arrow tool to delete the white background. There was one area in here that I don't like, and we can use the pen tool, hold down, and do the delete anchor point tool. And let's just delete these anchor points and just kind of clean that up a little bit, because there's a couple of them that have really deep lines in them that I don't like, that probably won't print very well for us. We have to make sure they're selected before we can use the delete anchor point tool, but there's a few of them in there that maybe we just want to get rid of because they're sloppy looking. And then there's also an issue here I'm noticing. Oh, where did it go? Right here, I think. So if we use the zoom in on that, it's not really connecting, which we can just grab the white arrow tool, grab those anchor points, and just kind of, I don't know, connect them in so that they're actually connecting. And you might need to go through and just make sure that this is nice and clean and that it's all solid looking and good. And then grab the white arrow tool, click and drag over all of it. It's all different chunks. It's not very nice necessarily. So I might just use the Pathfinder tool in the properties panel over here and just click this unite. And that will clean it up. I think it will. Oops, cancel. That might clean it up. I think there's an issue here is what I'm noticing. We might want to use the shape builder tool and just, that might actually work better than the Pathfinder. I tried using the Pathfinder, but if there's any extra shapes in here, just click and drag a line through them with the Pathfinder tool to bring it together so it's all one nice, solid, clean barbed wire shape, which now it is. It looks pretty good. One thing we could do too with the shape builder tool is if we want to create a shape here, just select this, and then click. And now I have, if we use the white arrow tool, we can select that and we can make it whatever color we want on the inside. So maybe that might be something you can do with your skull. I don't know how this is going to end up looking. We'll have to group it together because there's two separate pieces now. But, you could potentially do something like this. And I'm not sure if you like this as well as more of like a less stylized looking barbed wire. This might be too stylized for such a loose drawing that's hand done. But you get the point of like tracing something and then using the shape builder tool to kind of clean up the shape a little bit, and maybe the delete anchor point under the pen tool to kind of delete some anchor points. So let's do arrange, send to back. obviously these colors aren't great for what you've got here, but I'm going to push shift so I don't lose. But if you want your cow skull to kind of, like we said, if you want it to come out, make it look like it's purposefully breaking through the border. You know, that's not perfect, but I might rotate it to kind of get rid of the problem with the, and actually delete these anchor points so that it's not poking through underneath the design itself. And maybe this is something that, you know, let's see. So what I would do if I was going to keep this design is I would actually delete these so that they're not messing up the actual, they're not poking out from under your horn that you have here, just to clean it up a little bit. And there's also an issue here with this chunk coming into contact with your actual skull here too. So that might be another case of where you might go in and remove. And if you have that gray shape underneath, that might be, you know, something that we would just make this a smooth, like it was never there kind of thing. Oops. I don't know, something like that. You would have to dial that in a little bit more and get rid of this as well. But maybe something a little closer. Oops. A little bit more like that, maybe. So that it, and then if you have your gray there, that gray that you were going to put in, let's see, let me make it, actually this needs to be the blob brush tool, and then double click, maybe make it a little bit bigger. I don't know how big that is, but, and then just kind of, I don't know, you filled this in class, and it was looking better actually with the gray shadow in there. I'm just going to try to see what this might look like. And then I do kind of think that it's not a bad thing to experiment putting the Alex Billmayer, you know, in an arch around this. But it, like I said in class, like this might actually look better. Group this. Might look better if you just simplify that and just put Alex. Probably spelled his name wrong. And this must be a really big, big canvas or artboard. I can't remember if that's how he spells his name, but yeah, and then use that same font that you've been using. Can't remember which one you used, but I have it installed somewhere. But something like, sort of like this, but a little different. And yeah, you could do just a simple, something like that, you know, underneath, and not necessarily this color scheme, but it could be something like that, a little bit more like that if you wanted to. You could still experiment trying to get it above or below, but I think it might be kind of hard. And then when you're done with the text, just remember, you know, to type create outlines so that I'm not missing, so that when you share your AI logo file, that you're not missing any text. So if you outline it and make it shapes, it's no longer editable text, and therefore you won't be missing text when you go to share your file with the t-shirt company, or, you know, whoever's going to put this on a t-shirt for you. So anyway, I think if you do something similar to this all in Illustrator and save it and make sure you outline those fonts, I think you'll have a really strong design, because I think the cow skull turned out awesome. I think the barbed wire circle idea behind it is going to look really nice, so great job. Yeah, just get this in Illustrator, and you've got a good project here. Okay, talk to you later. Bye.